Hello, 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 hello. Happy Wednesday. How are y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day? Happy Wednesday, WINS day. How are y'all doing today? Listen, let's do a quick tech check. I've been having issues all week with my technology. If you can see and hear me okay, please drop a number one in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Okay. Listen, we are about to get into it. And I want to start today with a question that I think is going to feel a little too familiar for some of you. When someone asks you what you do you talk about your job title or do you talk about what you're actually good at? Because for most of us, those are two very different answers, right? And that gap right there, that gap between what you do and what you're capable of, that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I am going to be calling this the curse of competence. Because the thing is, if you are a smart, skilled, high achieving woman, someone who is great at what you do, who people constantly come to you for help, advice, referrals, recommendations, this conversation is for you, ma'am. And I want you to stay with me because I'm about to say something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, okay? Listen, the very things that you're best at are probably the things that you've never thought to charge for. And this isn't because you don't deserve to charge for it. And it's not because there's not a market value for it. It's because you've been socialized professionally, culturally, and sometimes even spiritually to treat your greatest strengths like they're just who you are, right? Like your greatest strengths don't count, like they don't qualify, like they're too obvious to be worth anything. And that belief right there, that belief, let me tell you, it is quiet, it is sneaky, and it is a deeply held belief. And it's costing you income every single month. So today, we're going to talk about why that happens. We're going to be talking about what it's doing to your financial life, and we're going to talk about what's possible when you stop treating your skills like they're common and when you start treating them like the assets they are. So we're going to be getting deep today. So I want you to get comfortable. I want you to go get your water, your tea, your coffee, your wine. No judgment over here. Whatever it is that you get into, go get your notebook and your pens or whatever it is that you take notes on because we are about to get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Nick at Noon. My name is Nick Scott, and I am the founder and CEO of Her Income Edit. We are an online education platform that's designed to help women turn their existing skills into coaching income, digital products, and online businesses. If you haven't already, I want you to text the link to this episode to your biz bestie, drop it in the group chat, and let's get into it. So let me paint a picture for you, right? You have spent years, maybe decades, getting good at something. It might be communicating, it might be strategy, it might be building systems, managing people, training teams, clearly writing things, analyzing data, developing curriculum, or holding space for others, right? Whatever it is, you have put in some real time into that thing and you've got the credentials, you have the experience, and you might even have some accolades, right? You might have been recognized with some awards and things like that. But somewhere along the way, you got so good at it that it stopped feeling like something special. And that right there is what I'm calling the curse of competence. It's when mastery starts to feel like mediocrity from the inside. And here's what happens to really skilled women. The better you get at something, the more effortless it feels, right? And the more effortless something feels, the less you believe that it's worth anything. You start to think, well, if this is this easy for me, it must be this easy for Lottie Dottie and everybody. And guess what? It's not. It's easy for you. So what takes you 20 minutes to figure out, it might take someone 20 hours to even get started on that thing. What feels like second nature to you is someone else's stuck point, someone else's frustration, someone else's Google rabbit hole or AI rabbit hole at 11 o'clock at night on a random Tuesday. And here's the part that I really want you to hear. People pay to solve frustration. People are not paying for information because information is all over the place. Literally, YouTube has information, Google has information, all your AI assistants have information, Instagram has information, Meta has information. Shoot, you can go on Netflix and get information, right? So people are not paying for information. They're paying for a shortcut through the confusion that you've already navigated. Listen, that right there, that is the whole game, y'all. That is the whole business model. But we can't see that from where we're standing, can we? Right? Because we have internalized something that I call the competence blind spot. We have a competence blind spot. I have one. And if you're listening to this, if you're watching this video, if you are under the sound of my voice, I would guess that you also have a competence blind spot. And here's how the competence blind spot works. The more naturally a skill comes to you, the more invisible it becomes to you. And I'm going to say that again because it's almost like a limerick or a tongue twister. The more naturally a skill comes to you, the more invisible it becomes to you, right? And the more invisible that skill is to you, the less likely you are to position it, price it, or profit from it. Because you literally can't see your own value. Because your value is the lens that you're looking at it through. Now, I just want to give just a different perspective for all of this, right? I want you to think about the last time someone came to you for advice, or the last time a coworker pulled you into a conversation to untangle a problem at work, or the last time someone said, "I don't know how you do that so well." How did you respond to that person? What did you say? Most of us, we deflect. "Oh, girl, that's nothing. That's just what I do. I've been doing this for a long time. It's not that hard," right? We deflect it. That deflection is practiced and it has been praised. You've been rewarded for your humility, haven't you? You've been rewarded for making your skill set feel accessible and non-threatening. You have been rewarded for not making anyone feel bad by being too capable, by being too skilled, by being too knowledgeable. But here's what that conditioning has done to your bank account. It's kept you employed 100%. That is a wonderful thing. But it has kept you underpaid. Because when you minimize your skills, you make them available without making them valuable. When you minimize your skills, you make them available without making them valuable. You become the person everyone leans on. And you become the person that no one thinks to write a check to. Listen, y'all. That's not a personality flaw. That's a pattern. And patterns can be interrupted. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I see the love on YouTube. Now, I want to offer a different perspective. I think is going to resonate just a little bit different than what you have heard before, right? So we talk a lot in this space about monetizing your skills, monetizing your expertise, and monetizing your knowledge, whatever word you want to use, right? But here is what that phrase misses completely. Skills are something you prove. Skills are something you prove, and skills are something you use. And when we frame this as expertise, we start to create an invisible threshold. And this is a moving target of, am I expert enough? And that keeps so many smart, capable, high-achieving women standing still forever. Because you don't need to be the foremost authority on something to earn an income from it. You need to just be further along the path than someone else. That's all. That right there is literally it. The person who learned how to swim last summer can teach another person who's standing at the edge of the pool today. You literally don't need to be a lifeguard and have a certification to do that. You just need to know something that the other person doesn't. So when I say that your skills are your next stream of income, I'm not talking about your credentials. I'm talking about your clarity. I'm talking I'm talking about your ability to recognize patterns and your ability to see what others can't. I'm talking about your ability to translate what feels like noise to someone else into a plan that they can actually follow. That is a skill. That is a skill, y'all, and that skill has a market. You just haven't been shown the door yet. And hopefully, you are starting to see the becomings of a door in this conversation. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I see the love on YouTube. Thanks so much for popping in today. So, I want to shift gears for a second because we can talk about identity and value all day long. I know I can. And I know that this is resonating, right? But I also want to talk about money. Specifically, I want to talk about the financial reality that most of us have been avoiding. Listen, most of us were raised to believe that a good job was financial safety, right? If you're like me, you were taught to go get a degree, get a good job, stay long enough at that job to be promoted, contribute to your 401k, retire at 65, right? If you're like me, that was the plan. And for a long time, that plan made sense. It was designed for a world where companies hired a person, you or I, for 30 years, and then they pensioned people out. Here's the deal. That world is gone. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm saying it because that is what the data says. Layoffs don't make the news the way they used to. And it's not because they're happening less, it's because we've normalized them. We've normalized it. We have been conditioned to see mass layoffs as a business strategy, not a policy failure. Somebody drop the word policy failure in the comments. Because that's what it is. We have been conditioned to see hundreds of thousands of people. I think I saw a statistic this morning that said something like 1.6 million Black Americans are out of work right now. 1.6 million. So we've been conditioned to see these things as a business strategy and we've normalized it. But that is a policy failure, y'all. And what I've noticed working with women across every industry is that the women who felt most financially safe were often the ones who got hit the hardest. Because they had all their income in one place, because they trusted the plan that they had been taught, that they had been trained to follow, because no one ever sat them down and told them your 9 to 5 was never designed to be your only stream of income. It was designed to be a starting point. It is designed to be the first investor of the thing that you're building on the side. Now, I want to be real clear about something. I am not telling you to quit your job. Do not quit your job. Don't be out here in these internet streets talking about Nick Scott said that I need to quit my job, because that's not what I'm telling you to do. I am not here to sell you on some dream about burning all the things that you have worked so hard to build down. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Your job is a real asset, right? It is your benefits, it's your salary, it's your network, it is your daily structure, it is the first investor in your business, and those things are real. But an asset that you're completely dependent on, that's not an asset, y'all, that's vulnerability. Think about how we talk about financial investing. Every financial advisor worth their rate is going to tell you to diversify. If you are working with a financial advisor and they're not telling you to diversify, I'm telling you to go find a new financial advisor. Financial advisors will tell you don't put everything in one stock, right? Don't put everything in one sector. They want you to spread your exposure so that when one thing dips, because it is going to dip, you don't lose everything. We are used to this happening in the financial world, right? Ebbs and flows, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. We know that today our 401k might look like this and the next day it looks like that. So we've normalized that, right? And that logic is universal. But somehow when it comes to our income, we abandoned that philosophy, that advice. We decided somewhere along the line that one employer, one salary, one annual review where someone else decides your worth, we decided that that was a sound financial strategy, a sound income strategy. Multiple streams of income aren't a luxury anymore, y'all. It is the strategy we should have been building the whole time. And here's the part that tends to shift something inside of people, that starts to stir up something in people. This is not about having a dozen streams of income. It's about having one more than you have right now. I'm talking about one additional stream that doesn't require you to trade every single hour for every single dollar. I'm talking about one stream of income that can run while you're asleep, on vacation, or on a doctor's appointment. I'm talking about one stream of income that changes what I can't afford to leave this job means. Because right now, a lot of you are staying in situations, you're staying in jobs, you're staying in relationships, you're staying in dynamics, not because they're good for you. You're staying there because you don't feel like you have options. And income creates options. That is why this matters. Not just the number in your bank account, although that matters as well. It's deeper than that. It is the options that matter. It is the fact that I can walk away if I need to. You have that energy. It is I have a plan B that I built myself, that kind of confidence. That changes how you show up everywhere. So I'm going to say something here that I think is a little bit different and people just don't talk about it enough. We often talk about a second stream of income as a backup plan. We talk about it often as something to fall back on, but I want to flip the script on that, because a second stream of income is not what you fall back on. It is what you fall forward into. The backup plan isn't for the worst case, right? The backup plan is how you get to the best case. This is what is going to fund your next move. It's what buys you the time to build something bigger. This thing is what lets you say yes to opportunities that would have been impossible for you before. And that vehicle right there that I just described, the backup plan that you fall forward into, that vehicle for so many women, it is already in your hands. It is the skills that you have spent years developing. It is the ones that you give away for free in meeting rooms and on Slack channels and on those "Can I pick your brain" coffee chats. Your skills are the product. They just haven't been packaged yet. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Now I want to talk about coaching for a minute, because when I say coaching to a lot of women, I watch something happen in their face. It's subtle, but it's still there. And it usually sounds something like this: "That's not for me. I'm not a life coach. I don't have a personal brand. I'm not sure I'm qualified to coach." And I want to talk about this for just a second, okay? Because those responses, they're not about coaching. They're about the version of coaching that you've seen all over the internet. That is the version of coaching that lives on Instagram. It's the version with beach photos and the course about courses, right? You're picturing the version that feels performative and loud, like it requires you to be a different person than who you already are. And yes, I'm going to be very honest, that is one version, but it's not even the most common version. Coaching in its truest and most functional form is helping someone get from where they are to where they want to be by using what you already know. That is what coaching is. This doesn't require a personality transplant. think about the women who have made the most impactful meaning on your life. Was it the person who handed you a PDF, or was it the person who saw something in your situation, said something specific, and changed how you thought about the whole problem? Which one? Was it the second person or the first person? Because that second person, that was a coach. Maybe they had the title of a coach, maybe they didn't have the title of a coach, but that's what coaching is. It is insight that moves people forward. Now, here's something else that might challenge the way most of us think about this, because we assume that coaching is a personality-based business. We believe that it requires a certain kind of charisma, a certain kind of visibility, or a certain kind of personal story. But the women who are succeeding in this space right now, they are not succeeding because of their personality. They're succeeding because of their specificity. The more specifically you can name and call out the problem you solve and describe the problem you solve, the more it can attract the person who has that exact problem. You don't need to be everything to lottie-dottie and everybody. You are not here for lottie-dottie and everybody. You need to be the exact right person for that one someone, okay? For that one somebody. Not lottie-dottie and everybody. You need that one somebody. And for a woman with 10, 15, 20 years of experience in a specific industry or a specific domain, that specificity is already in you. You've already lived the problem you'd be helping someone solve. You've already figured out what they're currently struggling with. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from years of hard-won clarity. And the woman who has spent 15 years in HR, she knows what it actually takes to get promoted, right? Not the official answer, the real answer. The nurse who's been in clinical leadership knows how to build systems that prevent burnout. And she's done it inside of one of the hardest environments on earth. What about the teacher who's built a different curriculum for 20 years? That person knows more about communication and adult learning than most professional trainers ever will. Listen, those are businesses waiting to be built. And those businesses are waiting to be built right now with what's already in you. And here's what I want you to hear in all this, right? Coaching is not a departure from your identity. It is an extension of it. It's what happens when you take the thing you've been doing inside of an organization and you start doing it for the people who need it outside of the system. It doesn't require you to pretend you're somebody you're not. It requires you to stop hiding who you already are. That right there, that is the shift that you should make. And if I haven't already, I want to get real for a second, okay? And I want you to know that I'm saying what I'm about to say from experience. And this is not from a place of judgment, okay? So most of the women that I work with, when they first find me, they're not new to this idea of coaching. Most of the women that I work with, they have thought about it. They've Googled it. They've saved Instagram posts. They've started a note in their phone and left it unfinished. Some of them have even started the beginnings of what would be called a coaching business. But the thing is, they're coming to me because they know they want more. They know that something is off. They know their skills have more potential than what's currently being expressed, but they're waiting. They're waiting for the right time. They're waiting until they feel more confident. They're waiting until life settles down. They're waiting until they know enough. And here's what waiting is costing you, what costed them, in a way that doesn't get talked about enough. People don't say this enough, because waiting doesn't cost you just the income that you haven't made. It's the decisions that you can't make. It's the opportunities that you can't say yes to. It's the situations you can't leave. The version of yourself that keeps getting deferred. We know what happens to a dream deferred. Waiting for confidence to come before you start is like waiting to feel ready before you jump into the pool. Confidence comes from the doing. It always has. And I want to say something else that might feel a little sharp. And not to push, I'm saying this because I truly believe this. The gap where you are and where you want to be, it is not a skills gap, it is a structure gap. You don't have a missing ingredient, you have a missing framework, a missing roadmap. You're missing someone who's been where you're going and can show you the path, and that this path actually works. That's what changes your timeline. It isn't more research. It isn't more waiting. It's not another podcast episode. It is structure. It is a container, and it is a decision, and it's a commitment. Because here's what I've watched happen with women who finally stop waiting and finally start. Within weeks, y'all. Literally within weeks, not years. Within weeks, they're moving. They have clarity on what they're offering. They have language for their value. They have their first client, their first sale, their first, I can't believe this just worked, within weeks. And the biggest thing they say afterward is not, I'm so glad I had all this time to prepare. Every single time they say, I wish I'd started sooner. Every single time. Listen, I am looking for 5 women who are ready to get paid for their skills. If that is you, if you have been sitting here thinking, you know what, this is me, I'm ready, Nick, I want you to drop the word paid in the comments right now. And I will make sure that you get all the details you need. And I want to tell you about something else because I've been building toward this, and not as a sales pitch in this conversation, but as a logical next step to everything that we just talked about. If you've been feeling while watching this, if you've been telling yourself, I know my skills are worth monetizing, I need more than one income stream, I want to build something of my own, I just don't know how to pull it all together in a way that fits for my life, then I really want to introduce you to Ignite. Ignite is my 12-week group coaching program, and it was built for exactly this moment. This is built for the professional woman who has the skills, the experience, the desire, and the complete absence of a clear path forward. In 12 weeks, you will go from I think I could do this to I have a coaching offer, a market, a strategy, and paying clients. We build the thing in Ignite. Not just the idea of the thing, we build the thing. And I want to be honest with you about what makes Ignite different, because I know you've seen programs like this before. You've probably even invested in them. Maybe you got a workbook and a Kajabi portal and a lot of information you still haven't implemented. Listen, this is not what that is. Ignite is not that. Ignite is structured around implementation. So every week, you're not just learning, you're building, you're making decisions, you're getting feedback, and you're moving. The model that we work from is something I call the safety method. I've talked about that here before, and you can find out more about it on my website. But the safety method is designed to take the guesswork out of every decision that usually stops people cold. And that is, what do I offer? We cover that. Who do I serve? That's phase 2. How do I price it? That's phase 3. How do I find clients without feeling gross about it? That's phase 4. How do I put this all together in a way that fits my life and my current full-time job? It takes the guesswork out of all of that, because we answer every single one of those questions with structure, with support, with a cohort of women who is doing this alongside you. Because there is something about building in a community that changes how quickly you move. You stop second guessing everything because someone who's already figured out the part just gave you the answer. You stop quitting when it gets uncomfortable because the group is still going. You stop minimizing your progress because other people are witnessing your progress. Community is not a bonus feature here. It is the thing that makes the rest of this work. I am looking for 5 women who are ready to turn their skills into income. If that is you, I want you to drop the word paid in the comments so I can get you the information, because applications are open right now for Ignite. And I want to be clear about what the application process is and what it isn't. It is not a hoop. It is not gatekeeping. This application process is a conversation. So you fill out a short application, and then we will get on a strategy call together. If it's a good fit, we will get on a strategy call together. And this is where I get to hear about where you are and where you're trying to go. And if Ignite is the right fit, we will talk about what that looks like. If it's not the right fit right now, I will tell you that too. Because I'd rather send you the right resource than to have you in a program that isn't matched for where you are in your journey. But if you've been sitting here nodding this whole conversation, if you've been watching this or listening to this and you're feeling seen in a way that you weren't expecting, the application for Ignite is the right next step for you. And it's not because I said so, it's because your own response to this conversation said so, right? So I am looking for 5 women who are ready to build outside of one paycheck. And if this is you, I want you to drop the word paid down in the comments, and I will make sure that you get all of the details. So Ignite is for a professional woman who has skills you know are worth something, and you haven't figured out how to translate those skills into income yet. This is for you if you've got the drive but not the direction. This is for you if you're done waiting for the right time and ready to make this the right time. This is not for the woman who's looking for a passive side hustle that requires zero effort. Coaching is a real business and it requires a real commitment. And inside Ignite, that's the way we treat it. So if you want shortcuts without the structure, this ain't it, y'all. But if you are ready to do the work and you want a 12-week environment that makes the work as clear and efficient as possible, you are exactly who Ignite was built for. You are who this was built for. You can learn more about Ignite on my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite, or you can just drop the word paid down in the comments and I'll make sure you get all the details. Here's the thing about all this though. Everything that you've been waiting to feel ready for, you've already been training for. Everything that you have been waiting to feel ready for, you have already been training for. Every meeting you've run, every problem you've solved, every person you helped think more clearly about something, that was preparation. It didn't feel like it. It felt like Tuesday, right? But that's the thing about preparation. It rarely announces itself. It just shows up one day as the reason you're the right person for the thing you almost talked yourself out of. We've been talking about the curse of competence today, right? And the curse of competence is believing that what comes easily to you might not be worth much to anyone else. But what if that is backwards? What if ease is the point of this? What if the thing that costs you nothing is the thing someone else would pay a premium for without hesitation? What if? Listen, your skills are not common. They feel common because they're yours. That's not a reason to undercharge. That's the whole reason to start. You've spent years becoming someone. Now it's time to earn from it. Applications for Ignite are open. I need 5 women who are ready to do this. You can head over to my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite. Drop the word paid down in the comments and I'll make sure that you get all the information you need. I want to see you on the inside. Listen, the only thing standing between where you are right now and the income you know you deserve is the decision to stop treating your greatest strengths like they're not enough. They are enough. They've always been enough. And now I want you to go build something with them, okay? Thanks so much to each and every one of you who popped in and out of today's conversation. This one was good. We talked about the curse of competence today. My name is Nick Scott. I am the founder of Her Income Edit. This has been another episode of Nick at Noon. I am here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time. If you haven't already, I want to invite you to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you do not miss a beat. I am in the beginnings of a 100-day video sprint on my YouTube channel, and that is where I am posting one video a day for 100 days, and I'm getting into all the things. If you like this conversation, you're going to love the content that I have on this 100-day video sprint. I'm getting into all things strategy, tools, and mindset when it comes to coaching income, digital products, and online businesses. Applications for Ignite are open. I am looking for 5 women who are ready to turn their skills into income. We will get started on August 10th. If that is you, head over to my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite, and I will see y'all in the next one.